Well, in today's video, I'm going to get into the map and show you all the details about living in Virginia Beach, the areas in Virginia Beach, what it's like to live here, and all the differences between each area. The goal of this is to help you figure out what point of references you have, what types of areas are here, and so you can make some plans and some arrangements to actually, pick certain spots to live. And we're starting right now. Hey, my name is Sam Sansalone, and I'm a real estate agent in the Hampton Roads area, Virginia Beach, and the areas around Virginia Beach. And I do videos every week about living in Virginia Beach and the areas around here too. And I help people from everywhere, all over the area in the world, relocate into this area, and I do it all the time. So if you have any questions about living here, moving here, I want me and my team to help you relocate into this area, please contact me. I have my contact information here in the description, and I'll do whatever I can to help you. So I'm gonna show you on the map. You'll see here, you got this whole section. This is all Virginia Beach. So that's one thing to note, is the very off the bat, the ocean front, when people think ocean or Virginia Beach, they think of the ocean, they think of the beach a lot of times. So I want to take that mindset, that ocean resort mindset. That is in part of this section over here down near the beach. Other than that, that's not like that the rest of the city. So I want to, if you do have that in your mind of what Virginia Beach might be like, I want you to take that element away, set it down for a second, and then focus on the rest of the area for a minute. But just know that is the ocean side is where the resorty stuff is. Other than that, the rest of the area is different. There's a theme that you'll notice between most of the areas in Virginia Beach. People that move into this area often have a couple decisions to make. One is, what type of character neighborhood do you want to live in? Do you want to live in an older, secluded neighborhood, lots of trees, just like established neighborhood? Or do you want something that's more planned, like planned subdivision, or just a newer neighborhood that might not be as developed or as secluded? And based on those neighborhoods, what type of house do you want? Do you want an older style house that might be more compartmentalized, cut up, or do you want something that's newer, that might be more open, has a different, more modern floor plan? But the thing to note is that people that want the character in the neighborhoods often also want the newer style houses, and often in this area those two don't mix. And so it's going to be a constant decision of what type of neighborhood do I want in relation to what type of house that I want, and is there a balance between the two? And so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about all types of other things here as well. But we're going to start. We're going to go in the center of the city, and then go from the northwestern corner and go all the way around counterclockwise so you can see all the areas. And I do this and talk through this to people as they're moving here all the time, and so you're getting a glimpse as to the first steps of relocating and what it might feel like to get an acclimation of the area. So we're going to start in the central side section here, over in the town center area. The question is, where is the downtown part of Virginia Beach? Well, there isn't really a big downtown in Virginia Beach. Not like Dallas or New York or San Francisco or any of these places. But we have like a small one. Okay. Town center here, you see Pembroke Mall right there. Well, town center, this was a very commercial and kind of like a bland area for a long time, and I spent a lot of time in here when I was growing up. But this area didn't have a whole lot happening except for some smaller neighborhoods around it. A ranch, brick one-story, some two-story houses built in the 60s. But around here, there was not a whole lot. But then recently, well, last 25 years, late 90s, early 2000s, the town center area around here got developed, and this is the closest to downtown that we have. Walkable streets, lots of good restaurants in here. Tupelo Honey's great, Saffron's awesome, Bravo. All around here is only about 6 blocks. But it's cool, and a lot of people come here, and so it's close to lots of shopping. You've got Target, you've got Walmart over on this side, you've got Wegmans is my favorite of all time. Over here, Yard House, the restaurant, there's a lot of stuff in this section. It's considered town center. There's some high-rise condos in here too. But then if you go around here, you'll see lots of those older neighborhoods that were here before they built that town center. So this was all here first. These are older neighborhoods. You're starting like in the mid to upper 200s, going up into the 3s pretty easily. But there's not a lot of uniqueness over in this area. To me, personally, it doesn't feel like it. But other than that, though, town center is great, and you're also close to Mount Trashmore, which is a really nice, one of the bigger parks in Virginia Beach, which Virginia Beach has over 200 publicly funded parks in the city. So we are big on parks in Virginia Beach. You've got some running trails around here. You've got it's a big mound. It's a big mound of trash. So there's trash that was filled in with grass, and now you would never know there's trash there. It's a big landfill, but it's really cool. I mean, it sounds worse. It's actually pretty cool. As you go around here, this area is cool, but as you go further Outside of here, some nice waterfront. That's some of the great, more affordable waterfront in this Virginia Beach area. But zooming out, I'm going to go into starting in the northwestern section. You've got a large section here. You see the northwest, you've got the north central, and kind of north central here too, and then the northeast. This area is considered as Bayside School District, as well as sort of Princess Anne in some places, but you've got Lake Smith. This is a nice lake area if you want some like small boat activities. You can do some smaller stuff in here. Real nice if you want like just waterfront, the cheapest waterfront you've got, or water access in the area in Virginia Beach, to me, outside of the rest of the area. So you've got some nicer houses in here. You've got some like newer subdivisions too, but a lot of older houses like 50s, 60s, and 70s. You're gonna see a lot in the northern section, but you got some condos in here. The school district is not in as high demand over in Bayside, so that's something that's in public information. You can go on niche.com and you can look up more specific rankings, but that's one thing, the rankings in here are lower. But if you go away from this Newtown Road, Wesleyan Drive area, Lake Smith has great waterfront access, and going towards this Route 13, this connects you towards the Interstate 64, and up towards the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, going towards the Eastern Shore over here. So this is quick access to lots of things, and so if you're close to this area, close to the main roads, it is pretty convenient. But I would say I love also Thorogood. Thorogood over here is a more secluded neighborhood. Big trees, real like nice lot sizes, brick two-story and ranch style houses, some awesome waterfront property here, and this connects to the bay. You'll see like this bay inlet section is real nice. This is the Lynn Haven River. It goes up all the way towards the Chesapeake Bay as well. So this area, if you like something more secluded, a little bit more like this neighborhood feel, it's real nice, you can go in this Thorogood neighborhood and do really well in the $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 price range until you get to the water. Now up here towards Chicks Beach, this is one of the more in-demand, but also secluded in a sense beaches, because it's a neighborhood, but it's busy. I'm not saying it's secluded like busy, but it's compared to the oceanfront, it's nice, or quieter. But you've got some cool little restaurants in here. It's a very like tight-knit community in Chicks Beach. People that live here love it. And so if you're close enough to Chicks Beach, you buy houses in here in some of these neighborhoods, you can walk to the beach, and it's awesome. Commonwealth Brewing is one of my favorite breweries in Virginia Beach, and there's a lot of good ones in Virginia Beach. But you've got some nice beach access. I did videos about Chicks Beach. I've done videos about a lot of these areas, by the way. So if you have more information or you want to know more about what it's like to be in any of these spots, I've done videos all throughout here. You can look at my channel for it. But Lake Joyce is a nice area. There's some houses on the lake, and it's a secluded lake, and you can't see on here, but there's like really nice, some nice trees, nice covering through here. You've got a neighborhood called Bay Lake Pines, which is over here as well, which has a private beach access. That's really that's cool. I love that. But you're talking 600s, 5, 6, 675 range for Bay Lake Pines. Got more condos through here, all through down towards the Lynn Haven Inlet and Lesnar Bridge over here. And that's what you'll find is that some of the more in-demand spots or the premier locations on the water are older neighborhoods, and that's because that's where some of the first places people settled were, so people built were. But if you go, so see this Route 60 here, this connects all the way from into Norfolk into where you can go towards Ocean View, which is more beach over here. You've got two bases, the Little Creek base right here, which is super easy access to Chicks Beach, and also towards the Norfolk Navy base. So if you want to be up here, it's awesome in one sense because you can be close to easy access to Norfolk and also towards the rest of parts of Virginia Beach. You can go straight down south here into Town Center. But at the same time, you're not, if you're working down the southern side over here, which we'll talk about later, it's a drive. So one thing to note in general is Virginia Beach is a large spread out city. And so going from one corner to the other can be extremely long, or can be like 30, 35, 40 plus minutes, depending on where you are. So if you're used to a long commute like Washington, DC or California in some places, this might not be a big deal. And you're like saying this is ridiculous. 30 minutes is not nothing to me. But some people that is something, and to me, I don't like driving for 30 minutes at a time, especially if it's in traffic. So this area in Shore Drive is really, really nice. It's got cool restaurants in here. One of my wife and I's favorites is Bay Local right here. Hot Tuna is another good one. You got Bubba's, you got Chick's Oyster Bar. There's some good beach and seafood places down here. The Lynn Haven, there's a boatel down here with a nice boat club. I have friends that we've taken boats out into the bay from here, and some really amazing, expensive waterfront property all along this Birdneck Point area. Awesome property though. I mean, some of the best you'll see waterfront in the area, all through this section, all through the Lynn Haven River in the bay. But this area near the Lesnar Bridge has lots of access to restaurants, some shopping, but most of your shopping is down further south, which we'll talk about later. But this is a lot of access points for even beach communities, a lot of cool places. It's not as resorty, but it's got some cool stuff to it, and it feels like you're near the ocean. Then if you go down into this central section here, which is down below the river, which is Little Neck. This is a completely flipped over vibe than what you might find in Chick's Beach and the northern beach area. This is neighborhood to the nth degree. Like, it's a big cul-de-sac. I mentioned that in other videos. I did a video about Little Neck and other specific areas in Little Neck, and this is one of my favorite areas in Virginia Beach because of the neighborhood vibes. You've got trees, you've got real secluded areas down in this. The further north you go in this section of Little Neck, the more secluded it gets, up into this whole point area down here. Middle Plantation right here in Bishopsgate is an awesome. I love Middle Plantation. I'd say $600,000-ish, $800,000 price range. You're gonna get a nice house and more of a colonial, older style feel to it. The points over here, there's lots of waterfronts. This is a ton of waterfront access over here. So if you love being close to water, being on the water, but you also want some seclusion, Little Neck is a great spot. And you'll have, again, you're talking over $1 million on the water, but off the water, you're talking more like $800,000, $700,000. But if you get into Kings Grant, which is one of the most in-demand neighborhoods in all of Virginia Beach, Kings Grant, say for under $550,000, you can get a real nice house, especially over in this western side and eastern side over here too. $500,000, $525,000, $575,000 in these areas like Kings Grant Road, Prince Philip, all these areas here, because you're close to Kingston Elementary School, which is a very in-demand school. And you can check all this information on niche.com and greatschools.net. But people love Kings Grant, people love all this area down here, also because it's close to lots of shopping. You've got plenty of shopping down here. The Yard Milkshake Bar, I've heard, is crazy. If you want to look up a crazy milkshake, and I've heard, I think it's been on Shark Tank. Look that one up. Really weird mixtures of milkshakes. So anything you need is not going to be in Little Neck, but for about, let's say, a 6-minute drive, in 7-minute drive, you can get down here into all the shopping you're going to need. And so this Rosemont area, once you cross over 264, it gets a little bit more, like these are houses that are like 300, 275, 325 range. So not as big, smaller, like 70s houses that not as much character to it as much as Kings Grant, but more functional houses per se. And so I want to make a stop real quick as we're talking about this area, is to note the 264 road. So in relation to Little Neck, you are close to 264. And the closer you are to 264, the easier it is to get, obviously, from the rest of the area. Now, the further away you get, if you look at the big aerial view of the map, you'll notice the further away you get from 264, it's suburbs, right? Down here, up in the northern section. And so any neighborhood you're in, it's going to take you several minutes at least, at the very least, to get to the interstate. And so while you have access to the interstates, and you can get to 64 pretty easily, Interstate 264 towards Norfolk, it's not super simple if you're in these corners over here. So for example, what if I typed in Kings Grant Road, directions to Sandbridge Beach, which is down the corner. That's 37 minutes. It's a long way. It's all suburbs, right? But if you want to go towards the beach itself, 14 minutes, and you're about, what is that? You're only about 5 minutes away from the interstate, and you can head over to the beach. It's distance-wise pretty far, can be far, but it's not as far because you're close to the interstate. And that's the whole idea here, is that the interstate proximity is very important. We're gonna shift our attention over to the Great Neck area. So we started with Little Neck, we're gonna shift over to here. Now you'll see some similarities to Little Neck and Great Neck. You'll notice that they're kind of similar in terms of how the land is shaped. And so you've got a lot of waterfront on both of these. And Great Neck is, I'd say, as far as feel of the neighborhoods, similar in some ways, but to me not as secluded, because if you notice, people that go into Little Neck have no way out. It's a big cul-de-sac, right? Going through Great Neck, you can connect all the way through up to the top towards Shore Drive. So there are a lot more people. It's basically it's a busy road coming up from near First Colonial and Great Neck. And so there are a lot of amazing secluded areas on this east and west side of First Colonial and Great Neck. However, you're also closer to lots of more shopping up and down First Colonial and North Great Neck. You're going to see lots more. You're going to see Harris Teeter over here. You're going to see more restaurants. You're going to see access points to lots of areas up here. Some of these areas are amazing. Some of the like larger, like 80s and 90s style houses, but on the water. Some of these are older on the water. They're awesome, like 1.5, 2 million plus in a lot of places on the water here, but it's secluded. So you get the access points, accessibility to lots of other places and the water, but you're not also feeling like you're on top of a main road, you know? So Wimbledon is one of my favorite neighborhoods around here. Wimbledon and Broad Bay Estates. This area has really good Christmas lights. That's, to me, pretty cool. You're in Cox School District, which is a pretty in-demand school district in Virginia Beach, as well as Chelsea and Green Hill Park. I love this one because it's very unique as far as there are several hills in this area, which are not very common in Virginia Beach. We're pretty flat, but when you go into this area, it's very secluded, lots of amazing trees, and the houses are designed more like colonial style, which I really, really like. So going away from there, you go a little bit further down south, you're going to see Allenton. Allenton is one of my most favorite neighborhoods in Great Neck. It's secluded. It's got lots of land, like covered neighborhoods, like bunch of trees. It's an older, more historic neighborhood, and so it's going to be, you're talking starting at around the $650,000, $700,000 price range usually. Going up from there on the water, you're talking over $1 million, $2 million plus easily. You're seeing a theme here. You're seeing it's a lot of suburbs in these areas and lots of shopping access to lots of places, but at the same time, you're not getting, like, what are the things to do? Outdoor stuff. You've got lots of parks. Again, I mentioned over 200 publicly funded parks. You've got, places to eat, lots of restaurants, good restaurant scene, and the beach, and lots of outdoor activities, hiking, fishing, boating, and golf also. But it's not like a place like, for example, like it's not a downtown area with lots of, like, there's some good concert places down south, but you might find that for downtown nightlife, if you don't like town center, you might have to go over towards downtown Norfolk. A lot of suburbs. It's just a matter of figuring out what type of houses you like. And so these are, again, back to the older style. In some cases, we got 80s and 90s. These are starting anywhere from like the 4s and 5s in the low side down here, going up to 600, 700, 800 and $1 million and plus as you go up. So the good news about this area too, though, is that you can get some more affordable houses down closer to Hilltop. However, Hilltop is an in-demand spot because it's got tons of shopping here. You see, I mean, two places specifically. There's a Trader Joe's down here and also a Whole Foods across the street. And so my wife and I go there quite a bit, for that reason, as well as we've got Target, Walmart, of course, all the main things. There's a ton of things in Hilltop, and restaurants, good restaurants. So if you do live in Great Neck, there's a good chance you might find yourself going down into Hilltop, as well as even if you're in Little Neck, you might find yourself going that way too, even though you have some closer spots closer down towards the southern part of Little Neck. Now going further towards the east, you've got Birdneck Point, this little thumb that sticks up. This is called Birdneck Point. Cavalier Golf Club is real nice, premier golf club, $1 million+ houses on here on the water. And then if you go up over here, this is one of my favorite neighborhoods. It says North Lincoln Park, but it's called Bay Colony. This area feels like you're in seclusion. It's back tucked in the corner here, but once you get across this Princess Anne Country Club and golf course, you're into the oceanfront itself, and it feels real. It's the touristy area. But once you cross back over here again, it's secluded. So people that like a little bit like small hills, unique character neighborhoods, this is great. Now, granted, you're talking $750 to start for the most part, $850, $950 into the millions real easily. This North Bay Shore Road has some houses in it, priced in like $3, $4, $5 million. So over here, this is some of the nicest, more in-demand neighborhoods or land in the city. So once you cross over here, this is more the oceanfront itself. You're going to talk more about, like, you've got more of the actual oceanfront. So you've got North End up here, more streets, beach access all through here. This is where a lot of the locals like to go if they want to be away from the ocean front and all the touristy stuff. So beach access is great. All through down here, all the way down to the ocean front. This is all neighborhoods, like all neighborhoods, but they're like starting at 700,000-800,000 and going up from there. And they've got some condos in here too that are cheaper. But again, if you go down here, you got oceanfront, Cavalier Hotel. And if all this area in here is the actual oceanfront with the boardwalk, which people love and come to. Good restaurants in here. I'm not a big fan of the actual oceanfront except for the boardwalk, but you know, there's some neighborhoods in here that are all not secluded in one sense, but they feel like neighborhoods. So if you want to be close to the beach but not like on the beach, these are some spots to check out. Vibe District is a new place that's got some good restaurants in it, as well as Shadowlawn down here. Lots of other subdivisions down here that are like nicer, but also, you know, smaller lots. So if you want that lot, that smaller bungalow style lifestyle, that's a place to check out down here. But if you go down here, there's another place called Croatan. Croatan's got it's got a beach. If you don't want to be on the ocean front but close to it, you can park down here. Nice neighborhood through here. Houses in here on the water are, you know, $1.5 million to $2.5 million, $3 million in some spots plus. But off the ocean, you're talking 800-ish, 700, 900. If you come off the water, that's when you get into more of the suburbs again. So you got all this touristy stuff, but then down here you've got Ocean Lakes, Red Wing, Red Mill. This is all suburbs, close to Dam Neck and close to Oceana Naval Air Station. And both of these military bases create much demand for rentals and for buying houses in here and then renting them out. That's a great spot down here to do that. Ocean Lakes, lots of great neighborhoods in Ocean Lakes, but this is closer to where the planned subdivision and the newer houses start happening. So you'll start seeing the 90s and 2000s houses being built in this Red Wing, Red Mill, like the late 80s, 90s houses, and more like you'll see lots of townhouses, smaller houses, pool access points. All this in here is if you want that newer style lifestyle, you'll have more access and options down here. But if you go in further down, you'll get more houses that are built like in the 2000s, new construction, like $700,000, $800,000 houses. Asheville Park and Heritage Park are two really nice neighborhoods in here. And Asheville Park it's to me probably the most in-demand planned subdivision that has a pool, like a community building, a gym, like has awesome amenities to it. But then this whole area has lots of, it's great subdivision or great school district, lots of shopping in your Red Mill Commons, restaurants are over here, and you're close to Sandbridge, which is I think the most underrated part about being in this section is you're close to the most, to me, the nicest and quietest beach, which is Sandbridge, which you've got plenty of access to that. It's one way in, one way out, but this whole area here is secluded. It's so different than the oceanfront. It's like, if you've been to the Outer Banks, it's similar to the Outer Banks. Lots of, you know, beachfront, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million resort, like those 8, 10 bedroom houses, you know? And then going off of here, you're going back into it's getting into country as you get further into this area. So the golf course is going down further south. This area is country called Pungo and Blackwater. This area it has some flooding issues as you get closer to the water. So depending on how the wind is blowing, you might have some issues down here. So just be aware of that. But other than that, if you want country, this is the place to go. I mean, really, custom houses, big lots, massive, like large acreages. If you want that country lifestyle, anywhere down Princess Anne Road and further south, you've got more options. If you want more custom style houses too and want to maybe build a house. And then going further south central, this is more, again, it's suburbs, guys. It's suburbs. And so, but newer suburbs. So this is suburbs, older neighborhoods. This is more neighborhoods, this is more suburbs, newer areas like 90s, 2000s. The houses are like anywhere from like the 350s for the most part, as far other than the townhouses. But you can have houses anywhere from like 450, 500 in this area. Lots of great subdivisions, even 600 plus. But there's some great neighborhoods here. New construction for like 650. But there's one thing I want to mention about this whole area that is very, very important. That is the jet noise. Jet noise is not a big deal for some people, a huge deal for other people, and people that have just moved here sometimes are surprised by it, and so you need to make sure that you at least know what it is before you come here. So the Oceana Naval Air Station is on the southeastern corner. We talked about that right here, right? And you notice this is like a jet noise rating system, a scale that shows where in the area the jets in the Oceana Naval Air Station fly and how loud it can get. And so they're disclosing that, and they're saying, okay, well, this is the Oceana Naval Air Station, here's the runway, and this is where a lot of the jets fly. And so the further away you get, the less of noise that there is. If you notice, coming down here, we've talked about some areas in the northeastern corner, like and even near the ocean front. This area can get noisy. Over near, like even near Bay Colony, you can hear some of it. And down closer to Hilltop, this is where Hilltop is right here. And you hear how noisy it can get. It can get loud. And so it can even go down into this area down near Red Mill and Dam Neck. And down over here, like you'll see even in Lansdowne, you'll see it can get loud. And it's not always, it feels like, well, if it was some noise on the east side, it should not be on the west side. Well, it really depends. And so you might even drive like several streets or a half a mile away from a place where there's noise, and all of a sudden you don't hear it much anymore. It's based on the flight patterns and where they fly. So you notice here, like going into the details here, some of these neighborhoods, like the streets, once you cross one street into another, the jet noise zone changes and it can get into where it's just quiet. So I would not say that if you're near a jet noise area, it's going to be a big problem. Just know that this is something to keep in mind for when you are moving here. It can get loud, and especially down near the station. So talk to some neighbors if you're going to plan on living in these areas. Make sure you talk to the people that know, which are the people that live there, and they can give you some ideas, as well as when you come here, even try and come during a weekday, because then you can go and see what else happens during the weekday as far as jets go. If you go during the weekend, you might not hear it, if at all, so you might not get the full experience. And so that's one thing I note too. But as you go over into this south central section, again, like if you go up into this area called Salem, Salem is a really in-demand school district, so you got plenty of options in Salem for, like, again, 3-4 bedroom houses, 5-bedroom houses, and you got one of my favorite neighborhoods. I actually did a video about where not to buy, partially because of the value. The prices have increased, is Salem Woods, but I still like the neighborhood a lot. It's going to be hard to find a neighborhood that has the character of the trees and the style, and also newer style houses. It's that kind of finding that balance. And so that's why I like places like Salem Woods, for example, or, you know, this area in the south central part is close to where you can find that balance between getting all of it together. You know, you're gonna find a lot of shopping, a lot of, like, all these roads, like just a lot of highways that connect to other neighborhoods, that connect to other shopping, that connects to other, keeps going and going. So a lot of the same over and over again. And if you go up towards Kempsville, I love Kempsville and Fairfield. This is going to the southwestern section. I love this partially because of what you get for the price. You're also close to 64, Interstate 64, but to me, I love Fairfield because of the environment in the neighborhood, lots of trees, got that brick style, like 2-story Oro Ranch, as well as others that, like my wife and I, we live in this area too. Areas like Bellamy Manor, Bellamy Plantation, Larkspur. This whole section in here has lots of that secluded feel to it. Also nicer houses, and a lot of these houses, people live in here for a long time and they don't move, and so it can be hard to get in here in some places. So it's in high demand. Avalon Hills, the two lake sections, I would say Lake Christopher and Lake James, if you want lake access. There aren't too many options in the middle of Virginia Beach, so these are the two that I think are the most in demand, and to me my favorite. Lots of $300,000, $400,000 houses down in this section going into Chesapeake, but also over here, you know, some of these houses are 500 plus, and these areas in Fairfield can be 500 plus. You'll find that this whole section down the southeastern or southwestern side has a mixture of in-demand places and smaller houses that are also in demand because of the price, but more cheaper, like $290, $310 over on this far western side. And this is actually close to where I grew up. So if you want value, this section over here is great. Arrowhead, this whole area, you're not going to get the equivalent of Little Neck, but that's why it's $325 and not $525. So if you want to try and save some money, I would check out this place over here. Now this is a primer for what I would try and tell people when they move here, as far as what to expect, what types of areas that there are. And remember, the only way I can help you even more beyond the videos is if you call, email, or text me. So please do that. And again, my contact information is in the description. I've got a team that also helps to get more in detail about what you might like, and I will see you on the next video.